Hello. Happy Thursday to you. What time is it? 6:47? All right. I was really thinking I would be here doing this part earlier than that. But it's not as late as it could have been. Hey, Nemo. How's it going? A very powerful Thursday to you. I wish there was a permanent... I think I've already complained about this. I wish there was a permanent URL for the live chat on YouTube. Wouldn't that be nice? All right, so check this out. Actually, almost. Or here's what I did. There. I have another instance of Discord running on Wheatley. So now there's two on Wheatley, and I made a new account so that the music can go into Discord on its own channel. If that makes sense. And I think it's going to be all right eventually. Currently it's not that great because Discord, the audio is all mono, even though it's really not. And I think I could use a bot to get around it. I have to make like an Icecast or Shoutcast server that is streaming the music, just the music, and then get a bot that's listening from that stream, and then the bot would be in the channel. And you can get higher quality audio and in stereo when you're transmitting through a bot for whatever reason. They probably figured that, most people's microphones aren't stereo, so why is it important? And they're not wrong. But it would still be nice, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it still be nice? A little bit. So we'll see if I can figure that out. It's working at the moment, at least it should be. So theoretically, you would be able to watch the stream in Discord through Raid's screen and then adjust the music to whatever volume you like by adjusting the voice chat volume for the music user in the channel. It just doesn't sound very good at the moment. But one step at a time. That's what I always say when I'm trying to remember how to walk around. Pop out. There we go. That's what we want. Or, anything with an agenda, but just have a good time hanging out, exploring, seeing the sights. But I didn't get a chance to do it. Before I jump into Star Citizen, I want to be sure that I get Ramble's Steam controller config and Star Citizen button mapping configurations all set up. I don't even want to, for the longest time, I really wanted to do it myself. I really wanted to make like this crazy Star Citizen config. And even though I still think that I do deep down inside, knowing how much work Rambletown has put into his config, I feel like it would be kind of stupid to start from scratch. So I'm going to start with what he has, understand it real well, get comfortable with it, and then make my own tweaks if I want to, if I even need to. So because I wasn't able to do that, there. I'm not going to be playing Star Citizen, unfortunately. Hey, Nemo, can you hear me? I can't hear Nemo yet. It's probably not her. You know how these things are. Hey, Nemo, say hello. I think she's saying hello. I don't think anyone can hear her. It's not her, though. It's me. Yeah, you should hear me now. And I will hear you in just a second. Oh, I definitely got to fix that. All right. Yeah, there. That's better. All right, we're getting there, Nemo. Almost there. Coming in on number 5. Perfect. What is going on? All right, and then hold on. Remote desktop is so slow. But it's undoubtedly faster than going all the way back down there. All right, so that's coming in on 7 and 8. 7 and 8. But channel 5 is the one that we really care about right now. All right, so we're going to go here and we're going to go into Discord and we're going to make sure our Discord output is on channel 5. All right, and then I need to mute the music just for raid. Perfect. All right, Nemo.
Hello?
It's working. I hear you.
I'm here.
This is great. Hi. How are you?
Oh, look it. And I'm controlling the volume.
Yeah, right? Isn't that cool?
I'm doing it. I'm controlling the volume. I turned down the music and now you're all turned up and
you're turning me up.
That's
it's
so
happening.
Cool.
Hey, Trap's
so
here.
Cool.
Hey, Trap.
Well, how are you today?
Oh.
hi, Ray.
I'm good. I wasn't
so
sure if he was
cute.
gonna. I'm pretty sure his battery is completely dead, but he seems pretty active. Yeah. Oh, it's Nemo.
Space battery.
Good evening, Trap. Happy Thursday.
It is a Thursday. Very exciting.
Hey, Wernetta. Happy Thursday, my friend.
Hello, Renetta.
Well, we can't
made it to the day.
we can't start talking about the movie or the show until Citizen is here for sure, because
I know.
that would be
I already
wrong.
sent him a message,
Did you?
but I don't think he's online. I think he might be sleeping.
Oh, how dare he?
I
What
think
is it, like
He's
3
sleeping.
o'clock in the morning over there?
I know.
And he's
That's
sleeping?
I don't know what he was thinking. 2 in the
Shucks.
morning. Who doesn't want to be awake at 2 in the morning?
I don't
That's
blame
the
him.
real question.
I'm honestly surprised at how much energy he has when he is on and we're talking. I start feeling tired and
right?
stuff, and then I hear him and he's like just ready to rock. It's amazing. I feel like an old man, an old spaceman. All right, I'm
is
gonna.
our space
Sorry, go
years
ahead.
The same. Our space years the same as like
No,
Earth years. So
we don't
are
really
you
have years.
older?
That's like a convention that we'll use to fit in, more or less. Yeah, so I don't know exactly how old I am, but
Well,
I find like that stuff really matters less. What really matters is like the culture, you know?
yeah.
So like I feel like I relate to people that were born like in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. So that's kind of like the age I identify with, I think.
Yeah.
But also very,
That's
very old
probably-
people.
But
Particularly.
only very, very old. Not
Very,
just, like,
very-
A little old, but very.
Yeah,
very.
yeah, yeah. Those middle old people, no. But the
Not
very,
so
very
much.
old ones, those are the most interesting ones, especially considering how old they are and everything they've seen.
They have all the stories.
Yeah, it's true.
I can't see the game yet. If you're.
No, I know. You're
playing
not
the
supposed
game.
to see it yet.
Oh, okay, cool.
just-
I hear
just
a
look
lot
at
of
me.
noises, though.
Just look at
I see
me.
you.
That's
I see
all.
your face.
Just imagine all the high scores I'm getting. I'm breaking records. There's
Cyberhook?
just another one. In all the games at the
In every game
same
ever.
time. That's not the game. I found it. You know what would be neat?
That's
I was thinking about how cool it would be if we could just like, why does it do that? Why does it change when I press that button? I really don't understand why it does that sometimes. But anyway, wouldn't it be neat if we could just like stream the episode and talk about it?
I'm
Like-
so happy.
You can't do that. It's frowned
No.
upon. But yeah, it would be really cool.
It would be super cool. But I mean, like, are there clips that maybe we can send to like reference?
I don't know.
Maybe I can do that.
Probably.
I don't know. Maybe.
So, what do you think? You think it's
Well,
just us?
I think it's just going to be us, unless Wernetta or Trap happen to watch Tinker Tenor Dr. Spy.
Or just want to even talk about it? You don't even have to watch
Yeah.
it.
No, we can just talk about how cool the Doctor is.
Right.
Or not. Maybe Neelix is your favorite. Or maybe it's Tuvok. Or maybe it's Chakotay.
Or maybe you have no idea what in the world we're even talking about. But if that's the case, well, not for long, because Nemo's about to explain. And what I thought would be nice is for anybody who hasn't seen the episode, I almost want to say like we should describe the episode. You know, I'm so anti-spoiler, and I don't want to like spoil things for anybody, but I feel like for us to really get into like how good this was, we're gonna end up spoiling it. So
Yeah.
it's a really good episode, and if you want to enjoy a great sci-fi story that's funny and imaginative and hilarious, which is also kind of like funny, but even more. It's like funny plus one. Maybe skip this episode, this show, this stream, or just turn down the, just listen to the music and watch us, you know? And actually, if you wanted to avoid spoilers completely, you can turn down my audio and you could turn down Nemo's audio and you can just enjoy the music in low bitrate mono quality. Yeah, you're probably not going to enjoy the music. Let's just say the audio quality of the music currently through Discord is it's like it's mono because it's trying to embrace the retro 80s vibe. See? I should have just played it off like it was all part of the aesthetic. You could do that. Just the audio, adjust the game audio, make for yourself your own stream that you're watching. You could even do voiceovers for us, for me. And as I'm talking, come up with whatever you think that I'm saying. That way you don't spoil the episode for yourself. But if you're not worried about that, then I think that Nemo, you should give us a rundown of what happens in this episode before we talk about anything specific. What do you think?
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm down with that. Let me change my headphones real quick because mine are sounding kind of crackly and I don't know if it's me or it's the way the Discord sounds. So let me fix that.
All right.
Or try.
All right. If anyone else notices any strange audio issues or anomalies, please let me know. Particularly with the Discord. The Discord is a lot lower latency, and I think it looks pretty good too. I haven't really done a very thorough comparison between it and the YouTube stream, but I still think that the YouTube stream is going to be the preferred way, or at least like the highest quality experience, as far as what I can tell so far, especially if nothing else, because the audio is coming through in mono, which, you know, that's, for me, that's unacceptable. It's really just not going to work in the long run. We're going to have to figure something out, because I really do like this idea of having a multi-channel stream where the viewers can kind of control different levels. I think that's so cool, and it's so close to being able to facilitate that really well, but just not completely because of that whole mono thing. But we'll see. But yeah, any issues that you notice, and if it's crackling, if it's doing whatever, you know, a lot of it might be Discord. I don't know, because this is all very new, but a lot of it could also be something on my end. So if I'm aware of it, then I'll keep an eye out for it. And but hopefully it all works out. I mean, I've been kind of surprised at how well it's worked, especially because, you know, the more time goes by, I'm starting to do more and more of the streaming through Discord, and as it is right now, I've got the music, Raid's Discord, and then my voice coming through, and Nemo, all going out on the same network. And I wouldn't be surprised if we started running into some issues as the stream ends up eating up the vast majority of the bandwidth, leaving, well, potentially very little for the Discord broadcast. I'm not sure how it's all going to work out. But let me know what you think. I don't know why I love doing that so much. It's kind of the most fun thing to do right here. Oh, no. But you have to do the jump or else.
Hello?
Hey, I hear you.
Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so I tried 3 different headsets, 2 different devices, and it is a little crackly through the Discord, but it's not unbearable.
Okay.
I don't know if it's just the internet on my side. Maybe that's it, but...
Are you on your laptop or your phone?
Laptop. I did my laptop and my phone, but they both sounded like that.
Right. All right. What was crackly? Do you know? Was it my voice or was it the
your
stream?
voice.
Or okay. And when you say crackly, is it like cutting out or is it like popping?
Like popping sounds almost.
Popping sounds. Interesting. All right.
You know what? Now that I'm using this both headphones, I don't hear it anymore.
Oh. Well, that's good.
Oh.
From hell, boys!
No, I do hear it again. Okay. But it is in your voice. The music is fine and the game audio is fine, but it's just your voice.
And is it when I start talking? Is it while I'm talking or is it just when I start talking?
It's the whole time.
Oh, so it's just like popping the whole time?
Yeah, like popping sounds. Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't sound like it's even bearable. Is this like
Not very loud. It's very teeny tiny little
teeny little popping?
sounds.
Okay.
Teeny little popping.
All right.
I mean, it's just like Snap, Crackle, and Pop are hanging out with you in the room. And
Yeah.
it's fun to think of Rice Krispie treats, so...
That's not good, though. Let me see. Hello? Hello? Check. Hello? Check. 1, 2, 3. Wow, yeah. I hear it too. All right. I have an idea. So Nemo,
Yes, sir.
do you want to explain? Do you want to
Yeah.
give us a rundown of the episode?
Yes, I do. Sorry, I was probably fiddling with my headset and all that.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. So, we watched Tinker, Tenor, Dr. Spy, which was, I think, season 3. No. That's totally wrong. Season 6, episode 3, I think. But I'll confirm that in just a moment. And it is a fantastic episode about the Doctor. It's season 6, episode 4, that programs himself to be able to daydream because he feels like he should be able to daydream just like everybody else does. And he wants to envision everything that he thinks is just fantastic about his life in the very best way. So he just envisions himself as like the hero of all and the captain, and he takes charge and he rescues people and and all of the women just love him and are fawning over him, and he's just like the star of the show, basically. He's the star of his own show, but he's daydreaming.
He should be the star of this show. He's the best.
Hey, you take that back. but
He's
he
the
is
best.
fantastic. He is great. He's so great. But he's daydreaming an awful lot, and it's starting to become a distraction and a problem because he's drifting off when he's supposed to be paying attention to whatever it is that he's doing. But instead, people are having to repeat themselves, and he finds himself going, "Oh yeah. Let me look at that again." But his signal ends up getting picked up by an alien race because, of course, he's the holographic Doctor. He's not really a real Doctor.
Right. That's important to know.
Signal,
He's
totally, yeah.
he's a hologram.
He's not real. Well, he's a hologram. I don't want to say he's not real. That feels wrong. So his signal gets picked up by a different alien species that's out looking for what Voyager happens to have on their ship, although I can't remember what they're looking for. Some kind of minerals and
Right.
stuff.
Minerals
But they have
and
a great-
technology.
Yes, minerals and technology that they have in abundance on their ship. And they want to attack the ship and take their supplies. So they are doing their reconnaissance, basically, and trying to come up with some way that they can approach Voyager and win. But then they decide, it's not really worth it. We can't read through the hull, so let's just put it to the side. Let's not worry about this Voyager thing. Although they don't know it's Voyager. Let's just not worry about that ship and let it go. But this one alien decides that he's going to take it upon himself to prove that he knows best. And he keeps digging, and he comes across the Doctor's signal. And in watching the Doctor's signal, he doesn't actually see what's happening on the ship, but he watches the Doctor's daydreams, not knowing they're daydreams. He thinks they're real. So he thinks the Doctor is magnificent and awesome, and everybody loves him, and everything is great, but he finds out a whole lot about Voyager in the process. And so he determines that the ship is worth raiding, but they are a very powerful ship. And a force to be reckoned with. The Doctor is a force to be reckoned with, basically. And he obliterated a Borg ship with a photonic cannon.
Well, the Doctor. The Doctor did.
Oh, I lost your audio.
Uh-oh. There I am.
There you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
The photonic cannon.
So the Doctor had a daydream that they were under attack by the Borg.
Yeah, and he attacks them with a photonic cannon and obliterates them, destroys the whole ship. And if you know anything about Star Trek, you know the Borg are a force of evil, so they're bad. And so it was a big deal that they were able to obliterate the Borg. So they think they're dealing with this big time ship when really they're dealing with Voyager, which is an explorer ship. They're not armed with photonic cannons. He made those up because he's daydreaming. So they call in their reinforcements, essentially, and decide that they're going to come at the ship, but like full on. So they're coming in.
Instead of a stage 3 stealth assault, it's a stage 4.
Exactly, stage 3. And then they realize that, the Doctor is actually even more dangerous than we thought he was, and they upgrade it to an assault stage 4. Terrible. And when they're about to upgrade that process, the alien that is watching the Doctor's daydreams very quickly realizes he's watching daydreams or dreams. He doesn't really know which, but he knows they're not real. So he has totally called in reinforcements and provided bad information to his commander, and he's going to be in a lot of trouble with the hierarchy. And so he would just want to cover his own butt. So he finds a way to hack into the Doctor's daydream program and inserts himself in there and basically tells him, if you help me, I'll help you. Please, I will help you save your ship if you pretty please just don't tell the hierarchy, my bosses, that I messed up so badly. I thought you were the captain. I thought you had destroyed the Borg. So they end up doing what the alien asked him to do. But meanwhile, everybody is not really believing what the Doctor is saying because obviously he's been daydreaming, so they think he's just daydreaming. He's now the daydreams are taking over, and he can't tell the difference between what's real and what's not anymore. So they don't know whether to believe him or not, but they decide it's worth a shot, and they let him take the lead. He has to pretend to be the captain.
Well, he proves that he's telling the truth because that alien guy gave him the the frequency codes for their cloaking devices.
Their ships.
So they were to see them when they were cloaked, and that's how the captain knew that the Doctor was telling the truth.
That's right. So they decide that they're going to go with the plan because it's the only option that they have. And they know that there's a very little chance of them surviving if they don't follow the plan.
Well, and the plan is pretending that the Doctor is the captain. So that was the catch. The guy was
right.
The alien guy is going to help them out and tell them how they can, destroy their phaser array or whatever. There was the phaser frequency. It was going to tell them the frequency of their phaser something, and then they were like, well, what's the catch? And then he goes, well, the catch is we have to play along with his story so that his bosses don't know that he was wrong and that he actually screwed up, which is hilarious. I think that's so funny, and they totally go along with it.
Yes, Raid, very funny. Good sense of humor.
That's funny.
No, that's absolutely right. So I wonder if I just keep saying that's very funny if something happens. So you think?
No.
I don't know.
I didn't even think he was paying attention. The
Either.
his
The body fell
robot body
asleep.
fell asleep, so but his software and his body are two separate things, but they're connected, but yeah, so he still does the
So he can
soundboard
keep
stuff,
going.
right?
He's so funny. He's the cutest little thing. I love him being there. And I
Yeah,
love
me too.
all the things that he does.
He's like the doctor.
Yeah. So they end up following the doctor's plan and the alien's plan, and he's supposed to follow direction from Captain Janeway, and she has an earpiece in, and she's telling him what to say, but he's messing it all up because now he's very nervous, and he's not the captain that he was in his imagination. Instead, he's a very nervous person who feels like he's not capable of doing this job, and he's aware of how big the consequences are. This is no daydream. So he's very stressed out and very nervous and messes up everything that he says in the beginning, and it's very funny. But when they threaten him with basically prepare to be boarded, essentially, and they've already fired their shots at Voyager,
It was just too
he
far.
just-
Too
it was
far
too
for
far.
him.
And Janeway tells him, okay, now it's time to negotiate, and he had enough. And he puts his hand up like, stop it, I know what I'm doing here. And he takes command
Yeah.
of the ship like a real
And the whole
like a real
time,
badass.
Janeway is in his ear telling him what to say and
know.
stuff. You know, and he's like ruining it. He's messing up that whole. It's classic, and it's so well done. He does such a good job at being awkward. And then all of a sudden, when he gets pissed, like I got chills because he just like it. He stands up and he's like so ticked off with these guys, and it comes out so naturally. And what an amazing actor this guy is, you know, Richard Picardo, like absolutely phenomenal, because he's an actor that's acting like he's acting bad, but he's doing such a good real job. And then you just previously saw him in all these dream sequences where he was so confident and he was like so like on point. Even like there's this in the beginning, he starts singing, and he's singing so good that it sends Tuvok, the Vulcan, into a Ponfar rage. He's basically made him super horny, and Tuvok can't even take it. And he starts like trying to beat people up, and he's like it's like a whole thing with the Vulcans. And he uses his singing to like put it all at ease, but the way he's like performing was so good. It was so real and believable, even though it was so cheesy. Like I love that he was able to be so goofy without ever being goofy. You know, he's able to be funny without ever being like funny. Ha ha, look at that funny guy, you know? He's so sincere.
Absolutely. It's so funny. And that beginning part let me know exactly what we were getting into watching the episode, because you see Tuvok just sitting there and he's crying. And you're like,
Yeah, and he's always serious. Tuvok is always the
He's a
serious
Vulcan.
guy. Yeah.
so you don't expect him to show any kind of emotion, and for him to be crying because the doctor is singing an opera.
Yeah.
You really don't expect that at all. And I probably laughed for the whole Ponfar section.
And isn't it
of the
just
show,
so
because it was so
sweet
funny.
that is like the doctor's, like that's his internal dream, his fantasy. You know, maybe not his fantasy, like the fantasy, but
No.
when he daydreams, that's where his mind goes to singing
Right.
a song so good that everyone in the room just has an emotional experience. You know,
Right.
he's such an
Yes.
interesting guy. And it's funny because I don't know if any of his dream, like daydream fantasy sequences had anything to do with actually practicing medicine outside of maybe, you know,
Oh.
like rubbing, you know, Janeway's lower back. But other than that,
Well-
was there anything else?
In the beginning, when Tuvok is in his Ponfar
Oh yeah, the
state,
hypo
he tells
spray.
Paris what to get
Right.
to make it better, and to stick it in his bum, basically.
It is funny because he's singing like singing instructions to Tom Paris, telling him what to do, and he specifically says to like shoot him in the butt with it. I thought that was interesting, and then Tom doesn't. He throws it
he hands
to
it
the doctor instead, and then makes the doctor do it.
Right.
I thought that was
the doctor
funny.
just shot him in the neck, or like in the arm.
Right.
It would have been way funnier if he actually stuck it in the bum. But
Wait,
either way.
did he not stick it in his butt?
No.
Oh.
No, he just like stuck it like on the side of his arm or his like back or something like that. It was not on his neck like it normally would be, but it was there. And then the whole section where the Borg come and they're trying to assimilate on the ship. Everybody starts turning into a Borg. Chakotay's a Borg, and Janeway is dead, and everybody
Chakotay's
else
like,
is...
we're turning into drones!
Right.
And then,
They're all turning into drones, and the only two people that can contain themselves are Seven and the Doctor. And Seven is very concerned because obviously she doesn't want to go back to being a Borg. And the Doctor is concerned because, oh no, now everybody's becoming a drone. But then he again saves the day and makes everything all better, and everybody is really grateful, and they throw him parties and they give him awards. And again, all the women are fawning over him, giving him champagne and just generally celebrating his existence. But in the midst of the whole story, you know that he really is trying to do something more, because he is just the Doctor. He's designed to only handle the medical care. His primary duty is sickbay, but he wants to do more. And because he is a hologram, he can technically do anything because it's just part of the programming.
and
He
he's
just
chief
needs to
medical
have-
officer, which is an
Right.
extremely high rank.
Very much. So he has the wherewithal and definitely the brains to be able to handle something with more responsibility, but nobody wants to let him do it because he's a hologram and that's not his primary job. But he very much would like to be the emergency captain. Like if everybody else is down, he would like to be the person that's in charge. And that just kind of spurns into the rest of his daydreams where he ends up being the one in charge and the one saving the day. And that's the one that happens most frequently.
And then the best part was that at the end, he actually does. You know, he actually, even though it's not the way it was in his dreams, you know, because it's,
Right.
that just wouldn't make sense, you know, for some crazy thing to happen. And then all of a sudden, he really does have to be the captain. That would just be so
Right.
out there. But the fact that they still facilitated that moment, it felt so good. And Chakotay's response afterward. So after he scares away, I don't think you finished. What happened?
Mm.
I think you left off where he gets up and he's about to like bark back
Right.
at those guys.
Well, he does bark back. He barks back hardcore. And the other alien...
Hollow bark.
The alien that messed up is telling his leader, you know, like, that's exactly what he said he was going to do before he killed the Borg.
The photonic
he makes
cannon. We can't mess
The
with him.
photonic cannon. Right, so he's doing everything he can to play up that there's danger here, there's danger here, and the whole time it's just a load of shit. It's not real. There are no photonic cannons. He knows the Doctor is not the real captain.
And Voyager
None
would be
of these
screwed
things
if
are
they
true.
were attacked by these guys.
Absolutely, and they would be destroyed. It was just the worst. So they end up having to, he barks back and they believe him, and they retreat. They leave. It was the greatest thing ever. And so he
After
finally
getting
did
approval.
actually, right.
From the
He
hierarchy.
did save the day.
Yeah.
They got approval from the hierarchy to retreat, and they did, and then
And it was all because of the Doctor. It was all because he was, and it wasn't just saving the day from sickbay, but he was actually on the bridge with the Doctor's uniform and everything, and the colors and the little buttons, and he said the thing, and he scared him off, and it was real. It wasn't like a fake thing. He really did it. I love that.
Right.
I love that he got to have that moment.
it was so good. And then they actually give him a pin, you know, and they make this big deal about it. Whenever he does take over for the captain, there's like this little CG, the little 4 buttons appear on his neckline.
Right.
So he's actually like displayed to be the captain. His suit changes color and everything like that. So it's just so sweet that they actually give him a pin and everything like that.
Yeah, the medal of accommodation or something. And then Janeway says that she will consider, or she said they're going to put together information or something like that on his proposal.
Yeah, his proposal was originally denied altogether, and she
Right.
said, but it is an interesting proposition, so when we get back to the Alpha Quadrant, we'll have a research team on it.
Right.
They're not getting back to the Alpha Quadrant for like 10 years, and that's kind of the point. Well, I mean, at this point, it has already been like 6 years, so maybe like 4. But either way, like
They don't know that, though.
basically,
At that point.
no, they don't know that. But either way, it's just basically saying, we'll do that whenever we get to that one thing. You know? And he was so disappointed by it. But then after this, she changes her mind and she realizes the value that he really does have, and the potential that he has. And she was realizing it even before he pretended to be the captain. She realized
When they spied on his
how much it
dreams.
meant to him. Yeah, that he was more than what he seemed, and the team had to sit in and watch some of his daydreams, which, by the way, like, it was such a big thing because Janeway felt conflicted about it. She's like, that feels like an invasion. I told him we were going to give him more respect and privacy.
Now we're
And
monitoring
they're
his
like-
fantasies and
And
his,
now they're monitoring his fantasies, and it's embarrassing. And they are embarrassing fantasies. They're not
and he was
kind of
embarrassed by
thing-
it too. Like
so
the embarrassment wasn't
embarrassed.
lost on him because he was a hologram. He was still like, oh,
No.
he was a shit. He wouldn't even look at her, you know, after that first
Right.
time, and they all saw his face. And she comes in to talk to him, and he doesn't even turn to look at her because he's like so
No.
embarrassed. Oh, it's
He's
so brutal.
so ashamed. And it's like, it's heartbreaking because you know that kind of feeling. You know when something that you've
I
been
think,
keeping,
yeah.
like, deep down inside has been exposed. And you
Everyone
don't
can
want it
relate
be
to that.
Yeah, it's so relatable. But in those moments where Janeway is seeing him in an unfiltered state, that's when she realizes that he's right.
How
He
truly,
does
like,
have
good
the
he is.
potential. He is a good person, and even in his fantasies,
Right.
this is, he wants to be a hero. He wants to save the day. He's a good hologram. He's a good person. And there was something in this, even though it's not nearly as heavy an episode, nowhere near, that made me think of Measure of a Man, the one in TNG. And I know that Data is a little different because he's
An android.
an android.
Right.
But I mean, essentially, they're the same thing. They're both built on computer programs,
Right.
So they're both AI, and that whole thing was what is an android capable of? You know, what can they do, and can they really do all these things? Can they be treated like a human? Do they have choice? Do they have this? This was definitely not that heavy.
Right.
I really like that little cube thing that you found.
Yeah. Me too.
I like that one. But there was something in this that was kind of reminiscent of that, you know?
Yeah. Big
Where
time.
at the end, you know, Janeway recognizes his potential and instead of waiting until they get back to Alpha Quadrant, approves his request instead to just, we'll start research on it, like
Right.
now. You know, I'll assign a team and it's going to take months to put together the data, but it's worth it because he wants it so badly and he does have that potential there.
And he demonstrated it, and he's got a point. Like, it almost seems like it would be a no-brainer because
Right.
what if something were to happen and all you know, everyone was knocked out or everyone, you know, was gassed and they were unconscious. You know, he's a hologram. He even demonstrated, it was like he made a case for all this, for these things throughout all these fantasies. And there was one where the warp core was gonna blow, so they had to get it
That's
off
so
the ship. And he's having this daydream, and initially he's like, "Is this real? This isn't real." But it becomes so real to him that he's like, I've got to go eject the warp core. And he starts climbing over the barriers, and everyone's like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, I gotta eject the
Right.
warp core. And they're like, no. So they're grabbing him and they're trying to stop him because his dreams are becoming more and more real and more vivid. But in his mind, that's how he saved it. He was the only one that can do it because it was going to kill everyone, but he was a hologram, so he could stand getting close to it. Like, I think that's so neat that he's coming up with these stories in his head, like that's such a neat thing. I almost want to see like a comic book about all of these different daydreams that he has, because the stories that he puts himself in are so interesting.
I have the greatest image in my head of him at the very end, standing there with his hands on his hips, and he's got his little captain buttons, and he's looking off into the sunset. Well, and what I thought was so interesting, and what struck me, because I watched this twice, what struck me both times was that everybody treated him with such respect. Nobody teased him about what they saw in his daydreams. Maybe Seven made like a veiled reference, you know what I mean?
Right.
But other than that, nobody sat him down and they were like, I can't believe it. And some of his daydreams were a bit, not explicit, but like they kind of pushing the boundary of what you would think he as a hologram would be imagining.
Right.
So Balana would have a reason to be upset. Paris maybe, or Seven definitely.
Right.
Janeway certainly. There's definitely room there for people to feel offended about it, but they don't. And I just really love, I love the way that Star Trek kind of approaches those kinds of things, the whole don't take it personally aspect, because they can't take it personally. If they do take it personally, then they would have an issue with the Doctor.
Right.
There would be a problem, there would be issues.
And that would be such a boring kind of stereotypical, predictable road to go down. It's like
It's a regular drama show.
Yeah, you were rude in your thing, and now I'm offended because in a dream you were rude to me, and now I'm mad at you, or something like that. And one thing I also liked was that Tom, like, there's this moment where they're talking about how the Doctor wants this elevated role in case of an emergency, and Tom Paris goes, he's about to say something, an objection, and part of you thinks that he's going to say, oh, you're crazy? He's a hologram. He's not even a real person. But he doesn't. He says he's already chief medical officer. Is that not good? Is that not enough for him? And I thought that was such a neat way of making an observation and a neat observation to make, in terms of all the different objections he could have made. He didn't dehumanize the non-human by saying, oh, he's just a hologram, that he doesn't matter. But it was more like you would approach a situation with another human. I really liked that.
I mean, he even said, well, he does it to himself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because there is the recognition. He's putting himself in these positions. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not... Give me 1 second. I'm going to change my Discord feed real quick. It looks like I have delayed video, but current audio.
All right.
So I'm just going to test something out.
I did update some audio drivers on Wheatley, and that's where my microphone audio is coming from. So there could be a possibility that sample rates are not lining up, which could cause a mismatch in my microphone audio versus what you're seeing. Probably not on YouTube, but more likely on the Discord.
I think I'm okay now.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
Hello. Hi.
Can you make your face bigger?
Hello.
There you
Hello.
go. No, there might be a tiny delay now, but before it was like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, I think the sample rate is off on Wheatley, so it'll keep getting more off the more it goes. but
I
very
see.
slowly. But I'll fix that. I'll fix that tomorrow.
No worries. But yeah, this episode is probably up there among my favorites, and it was really lighthearted and super funny.
Yeah.
Super funny, and not like, haha, I'm slapping my knee.
That
So
slaps
funny, but
me
the
on the
doctor-
knee.
It wasn't a cracking funny show.
Yeah.
But it was. When I say that, it does not sound genuine at all. It sounds terrible.
No, it doesn't. It works.
But the doctor is so funny just by himself. And it was just such a funny episode, and yet it had a lot of weight. Even though it's dealing with a hologram, you don't feel like you're watching a show about a hologram. You know, you care
Yeah.
about the doctor.
And what did
all
you
the
think
things that
about the
happen.
aliens?
Oh, I love them. I loved them so much.
Me too. Yeah.
I thought they looked so cool, and there was something about their voices that just felt really familiar.
They looked
And,
so gross.
They were so nasty.
Yeah, but like in a really neat like sort of way. Like they tried to make them look the dumbest that they possibly could with like the outfits they were wearing, plus with the
Right.
skin, and oh my gosh. So you guys, if you
Yeah.
don't know, and if you're not gonna watch it, you should go to Google or do an image search and just type in Tinker Tenor Doctor Spy, and you'll undoubtedly come up with these aliens. And see what they look like. They're hilarious, and the way they talk and the way they're so like bureaucratic. You know, it kind of reminded me a little bit of like Hitchhiker's Guide. The
Vortigons?
the Vortigons, and
Yes.
they were like that, and the way that they always had to get approval for everything. And I loved the technology they had. They had these like clear card things, and they would like type on
A
it,
giant SIM card.
right, and then they would slot it into this rad looking wall unit thing, almost like a huge credit card reader, slide it in there, and then the coolest display that I've ever seen. The way that
Okay.
display did the lights and stuff, it was so neat. And whoever worked on that must have spent so much time and so much creativity to come up with this cool display for this one episode alien tech thing. Maybe they use it more, but it was so awesome. And then they put it in there, and then they have to wait to see if they get approval from the hierarchy, which, you know, it's like the people in charge. And I thought that was such a neat thing, because it wasn't just the two dudes arguing back and forth, but it was like the whole workplace vibe where it's like, this guy's your boss, but you don't like him and he doesn't like you and he can't fire you, but you could tell that he kind of wants to. But you went over his head and you got approval for something, but now he's mad at you, and that whole thing. I thought it was so
Right.
funny, because it wasn't just like, we're going to destroy them, you know, oh, but we're reading his thoughts and stuff. They came up with a lot of ways to give character to these aliens, you know, to make them. I didn't even say anything funny. But anyway, to give character to them. And I thought it was really refreshing and kind of different, you know. I think a lot of the aliens in Voyager, a lot of the species they interact with, are a lot of times more lighthearted, almost, or at least not as like heavy as like some of the other species in Star Trek's. And these guys were a good example of that. They almost felt like they were from an old Nickelodeon show, you know, like an old live action Nickelodeon show, probably about a kid who has like superpowers and he can go to space, you know, and then these would be the
Yeah.
types of aliens in that show.
Right.
Yeah. And it would have like actors from all that playing the aliens or
These
something.
would be the aliens that distributed the space goo that infected Alex Mack with their
Right.
superpowers. or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can see that.
And the
It was
goo,
so
yeah,
funny
they
looking.
definitely have goo. You can tell just by looking
can
at them.
tell.
They're really
Blue.
into it.
It's like blue or green. Or
Yeah.
some mixture of the two, and kind of muddy.
Oh, and
and
you know it
gross
doesn't
looking.
smell good. You just know that nothing that
No.
looks like that smells good.
No, it doesn't smell good, and they probably have a lot of boogers because
Yeah.
they were super nasally.
They look like they are just boogers.
Boogers.
The booger bros
Yeah,
of
it was so.
the Delta Quadrant.
And yet through all of that, I loved them. I
Yeah.
loved the alien that was spying on the doctor.
Right. And he ends up like just loving the doctor, and he wants to save him
Yes.
because he's like, I
Right.
feel like I've been getting to know you. And the doctor's like, no, you've been getting to know my fantasies, not me. And then it's like, yeah, but no, I know you and the kind of person you are and the way that you see things. And he was totally right. And you totally get that, you know, like the fact that they made that feel like that that worked, you know, like
Right.
the maybe not full on change of heart, because really the guy was looking out for himself more than anything else.
Right.
But at the same time, you can still tell that he was kind of fanboying at a certain point, you know?
Right.
He was a bit of a simp for the doctor. He really wanted to make sure that he was
He did.
okay.
He did love the doctor so much. And I mean, he's like, I don't want to hurt you guys. We're going to kill you. So you have to do something because I don't want you to get hurt. But also, I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to get demoted. But he did really care for the doctor. And you can, like, they kind of had like this giddy, I don't want to say boyishness. That's not the right word, but buoyant? That's the word I'm looking for. He felt kind of buoyant when he succeeded at the end. You know, he's kind of bouncy and kind
Right.
of big and kind of jiggly and like he's so proud. And
Yeah. He
It
didn't
was
lose
just
his
the greatest.
job.
no, he didn't lose his job. Everybody stayed alive. Everybody's good. Nobody knows he gave bad data.
And then
Everybody
his
thinks that Voyager is badass.
right, they destroyed a Borg cube or whatever. And his boss ended up being like really, really terrified and super relieved when they got the confirmation to go ahead and get out of there or retreat. You could tell that
Right.
he was like, oh, good, because he really didn't want to either. And then it kind
He
of makes you
didn't
feel
wanna
for
do it.
them because unlike maybe like the Klingon or something, like they don't seem personally like they hated Voyager. You know, they weren't like those nasty human scum. We have to kill them. They weren't like that at all. They were just doing their job. And I thought that was kind of neat too. And then how relieved he was when they were able to retreat. I thought was kind of cool and probably felt really good for the dude who was able to evade getting in huge trouble. Just knowing that
Right,
his
no.
boss had to see it and you know was pretty terrified there for a minute.
Well, and now it's all hierarchy approved. Everything is good. Everybody's okay with everybody else. And because they have a ton of different ships in the area that Voyager was going through, it's inevitable that Voyager would bump into one of their other ships while they're on their way back to the Alpha Quadrant.
And now
So
if they
it's kinda
do,
cool that they, if they do, they know, like, just don't fuck with that guy because they have a photonic cannon.
right,
He's not afraid to use it.
and their captain is a badass.
Right.
And the real
just
captain
love
is
it.
pretty badass too.
Yes, she is. She is very much. But I love the whole episode so much. It was just so fantastic and so fun. And when I looked it up, there was a bunch of people that have it on their top 10 lists.
Yeah.
And I can totally see why. This was just one of my favorites. It had all of the heart and all of the fun and all of the goof and all of the stuff that I love about Star Trek.
I think I want to say it's the funniest episode of Star Trek. But I kind of
Really?
feel like I need to watch more of the funny episodes because I'm having a hard time even thinking of many of them. And I know that there's a lot. I know I have some favorites, but I can't think of them without
Right
seeing
now.
a list or something. But
Yeah.
that would be fun to like put together a playlist of the funniest episodes of Star Trek.
Yeah.
That'd be a good vibe.
That would be great. Uh-oh. I have to step away for just a moment, but I will be right back.
Sounds good, Nemo.
Okay.
Watch your step. I'm so excited to watch a Deep Space Nine, man. Giving Voyager a shot. Like, I heard a lot. I know that Deep Space Nine is kind of like, is a lot of people's favorites. And I don't think I was really all that open-minded until I kind of gave Voyager another shot. And it's weird because, like, I'm enjoying it a lot. But I'm still like aware of the criticisms that I might have if I were arguing, you know, one Star Trek versus another, which is a worthless argument, but I'm just simply enjoying it. I like the stories and I like the characters, and now the more that I'm spending time in Voyager, the more hyped I'm getting for DS9, knowing that so many people love it so much, and knowing that, you know, it's pretty universally considered, you know, like the better between those two for sure. But I mean, as far as I understand, it rivals the Next Generation, they say, which I find really, really fascinating and exciting. And Voyager's got me thinking that, you know, I don't know if I have a favorite. I don't know if I can have a favorite. The more I think about it, the more I feel like I just like the stories. And there's certain episodes that are my favorites. You know, like there's certain episodes that I like more in one series than episodes that I like more in another series. And I can't necessarily say all of my favorite from the Next Generation are above all of my favorite in Voyager. Because it's not. Like, there are some episodes in Voyager that are just some of the best sci-fi, fun sci-fi stories. 30-minute, like, it almost makes me think like, I don't know. I don't want to make it sound like cheap, but I appreciate that you can jump into something and get some like interesting sci-fi vibes, some interesting, just some fun stuff, and it's not super heavy, and it's not super challenging, and it's not 3 hours of your life. I'm super grateful for it. Star Trek is cool, and I'm glad that I gave Voyager a shot, and I'm super excited now for DS9. I keep putting off starting it though. I kind of feel like I want to start it right, you know? Like I don't want to start it, you know, as like a, you know, something I watch before bed type of thing. I feel like Voyager is sort of like that, almost lighter. I mean, some of the episodes are super heavy. Like the Tuvix episode is super heavy. There's a lot of like heavy stuff in it, but it feels more like the PBS Star Trek, you know, not in the sense that it's like, it's not the Nickelodeon Star Trek. It's not like for children, but it feels more whimsical almost. And I don't know if that's because Brian Fuller was involved, and he is responsible for like one of my favorite shows ever, Pushing Daisies. He also did he's done tons of great shows. He's great. And I think knowing that is one of the things that helped me be more open-minded, you know, even if he wasn't like the showrunner, he was a little writer at the time, but still, he did some really good episodes of Voyager as well. TNG was your Star Trek for a long time, Wernetta? Yeah. TNG was my Star Trek for a long time. And now I don't think I have a my Star Trek. I think I just like a lot of what I've seen. Except, I will say, like, the newer stuff just doesn't do it for me. And that's kind of what brought me into Voyager. Was wanting to watch Star Trek, but not really being satisfied with what was currently on. Right, Nemo?
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I think I liked Picard a little bit more than you did, but I do also completely feel like it's not Star Trek. It's not the same. It's definitely a story with dealing with the same characters, but it's not the same.
Right.
So if you're looking for more Star Trek, that's not gonna.
If you're looking
scratch
for
that
more
itch. And
Patrick Stewart, then
Right.
it's got you covered, man.
Exactly.
And I love
But
Patrick
if you're
Stewart.
looking for Star Trek, that's not going to do it. And Discovery didn't do it for me either. I didn't even really get into that one at all. I think I watched maybe 2 episodes and was kind of over it.
Yeah. Maybe in 20 years we'll give that one a shot and it'll be our new favorite.
Maybe. I can totally agree with you about Deep Space Nine, though. I am so much more excited for it than I ever was before.
Yeah.
Because I never was interested. TNG was the be-all, end-all for me, and I feel like that was it, because that's the one that I grew up with. It was always on, and I knew it, and it was familiar and comfortable, and I never really felt like giving any of the other ones a shot. But giving Voyager a shot really has changed my perspective on that.
Right.
And so I am so much more interested. I do, Ornetta, maybe you can enlighten me a little bit more, but I think I remember reading that it was a little bit more like there was an ongoing story arc through the whole series.
Right.
And I know that they kind of attempted that with Voyager. I mean, you can see it in lots of the episodes, but it's not a huge focus. It's there, but it's not, the focus of every episode.
Right. I believe it's called a serial. It's serialized.
Thank you, I can't remember.
I think that's the term. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that has got me holding off on jumping into Deep Space Nine, because I know that I'm going to need to pay attention, to all the episodes. And the way it is with Voyager is sometimes like I'll like skip episodes accidentally just because I might get tired or distracted with something, and then the next day I'll watch the next episode. So I end up watching the beginnings of the episodes multiple times before I end up watching the entire episodes. And then the episodes that I really, really like, even if it's just the beginning that stands out, I end up watching those ones multiple times, often in succession. And so I don't know if that's the right kind of, use case for a show like DS9. And I'm kind of feeling like that should be a, I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me if this is not the best way to do it, but I'm thinking like a Deep Space Nine binge weekend thing. You order a space pizza, you get a bunch of space fluids, and you watch an entire season. I don't know how many episodes. That may not be possible, but I think that would be really fun.
That's literally what Renetta just said.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said it's better now because you can binge watch it.
There you go. All right. 7 seasons. It'd be fun to just do like, how many episodes? I wonder if does it got like 20 some odd episodes like the other ones? It's almost an entire week of watching. Yeah, I'm sure I wouldn't be able to watch the entire thing. I don't even think I would want to watch the entire show in quick succession, because I won't retain very much if I do that. But I think I would like to do like binge a season at a time.
25 a season.
That's out of
control.
That's what Voyager's at.
I know, but that feels like out of control, like in comparison to what is on TV nowadays. Well, maybe not. Maybe I'm just totally disconnected. But I mean, especially for it being like, a 45-minute show.
Right.
That's a lot. That's a lot to put into stuff.
And a lot of costumes and.
Oh my gosh. I love when I just kind of like happen to notice that, they've used that nose before, or they used that nose and that head, but they mix them up like the prosthetics.
Right.
That they used for the aliens. I love that. Their makeup is just incredible, though. Did they win awards? Did Star Trek ever win awards for what they did with aliens?
I have no idea. Yeah.
Because I feel like they put in so much effort there.
It seems like they put in more effort than a lot of people put in actual full-on films.
Right.
Voyager's Doctor makes a cameo in DS9. Oh, nice.
That's exciting. Season every 2 weeks. Yeah, I feel like I'd be able to watch one a month, but it would be something that would take me probably a year to get through the whole thing. In all reality, you know, I would love to be able to just sit and binge watch it, but that's just not.
No,
feasible
yeah.
Unless I watched it while I was working, but that would not be wise because then I wouldn't do any work at all. I would just be watching.
I think I would like to watch. I mean, I think the idea that I have is like binge the first season and then just watch them periodically, like the episodes, like regularly, but not a binge, you know, because I kind of like having that to look forward to. Maybe in waiting a week is kind of terrible, but at least you don't have to. You can watch it whenever you want, you know. So that might be cool because it is always a bummer when you find a great show that you're really excited about, and it's an older show, so it's got a big back catalog, but then you realize, oh man, this is the last season. Oh man, there's only 3 more episodes. And then when it's over, it's always a little sad. So yeah, I wouldn't want it to end too quickly. But I don't want to drive myself crazy either, waiting to see what happens.
There was this show that I think you used to watch it too.
Life with Louie.
Life with Louie.
Yeah.
I'm still on Sci-Fi right now.
Oh, sorry.
Fringe. And as much as I loved it, because it dragged on for like maybe one season too long, I didn't watch the end of it, even though I like religiously watched that show every week. It was the thing to do on Thursday nights. Had to watch Fringe. But then it kind of lost its footing, and the last season just kind of fell flat, and I don't think I ever finished it. And there's so many times that I think I want to go back and hang out with Olivia and Peter. And
how's Walter doing?
How's Walter? And what was that girl's name? Astrid? Was that it? I think it was Astrid. She was so cute.
Oh yeah. With the curly hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was cool.
Yeah. But there's so many times that I think, oh, I want to go back and hang out with them, but there's still so much that I haven't seen, like Deep Space Nine.
Right.
That I want to watch first. I've already seen Fringe, kind of, for the most part.
Well.
But Life with Louie?
Oh, I thought you were just wanting to talk about Life with Louie, the great cartoon from back in the day. But
you should talk about your feelings on it.
On Life with Louie?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's we don't have enough time for that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did listen to him on a podcast. It was a couple years ago. It wasn't very recent, but he was on You Made It Weird with Pete Holmes, and he was so interesting and so funny and so sweet. And I mean, Pete Holmes is kind of a sappy, sweet, smushy, mushy kind of guy, and I love that about him. But most of the episodes don't really like hit it to the point where I'm gonna cry or something.
Yeah.
That episode, I cried, and I like maybe I am like a much more weepy person than I thought I was. But he was such a genuine, sweet guy, and or at least it seemed like it in a 3-hour conversation.
Yeah. I don't know. I never met him, but he made me laugh a lot when I was a kid. So I'm forever grateful.
That was a great show.
It was so good. The Christmas episodes in particular are just they're baked into me. They're baked into my media brain. His dad is the fucking funniest, man. He's so funny.
Yeah, he was.
He's like, Louie, go give this cup of coffee to your dad. I'm not going near that bathroom. Oh, he's not in there. It's so funny. Like, why would he be bringing him a cup of coffee to the bathroom anyway? Like, Louie thought his dad's taking a dump and he's gonna bring him coffee. Like, this show's so funny. I think Raid's funny.
I think Raid needs to watch some Life with Louie.
I think we need to pick another episode to watch to discuss next Thursday. I have a couple suggestions.
You do it this time.
All right. I'm gonna think about them, and then I'll post. I'll come up with a decision by the weekend. And then
Okay.
you guys watching, even if you don't want to like join in the conversation, I still encourage you to watch the episode, because then we're not spoiling it for you, and I guarantee you're gonna have a better time seeing it from these amazing actors on these amazing sets than you will hearing about it from us. So, and it'll make more sense, also. And if you don't like sci-fi and you don't like Voyager, I totally understand, but just watch it anyway. And there you go. So, Nemo, it was a good suggestion. Very good episode, and I'm glad you picked it.
You gotta give Voyager a shot.
Big
Worth
time.
it. It's so worth it.
Thanks for coming on and talking to me about it. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for letting us do this thing. This is cool.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry that Citizen slept through it.
Oh, it's all right.
We'll have to tease him about it tomorrow.
Yeah, he maybe what he can do is he can make a video watching this and reacting to it as if he were here, and then he could post the video on his channel, and then we could watch it like we were there with him when he was here with us when we weren't actually together. That could be a
That's
fun
great
thing,
idea. I
because
love
it's
that.
very sci-fi, time travel
I love
or
it very much.
something. I don't
That's
know.
a great idea.
All right. Well, everybody, Nemo, Renetta, Trap, anybody else out there watching, thanks for stopping by. I hope you had a good night. And we will talk to you later. Tomorrow is Friday, and that's exciting. This week, Friday was very well earned, I feel, not just for myself, but for many of you as well. So congratulations. We're on the home stretch. We almost made it. And then, by God, we're going to sleep in Saturday morning. Fingers crossed. Right, Nemo?
Oh, I hope. I hope I can. That would be so nice.
I agree. All right, everybody. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you tomorrow.